Hello and welcome. This is a recent interview I did with the journalist Christine Hart. Christine is a natural clairvoyant. She's been involved in sort of astral travel for many years. She's also been trained by very shady government organizations to work on the astral. So, you know, she's not, if you like, a neophyte. However, she asked me about cursing. Now, cursing comes in many forms. However, what I will say is that the so-called anti-cursing cures that appear in quite a lot of books are really not worth their salt, to put it bluntly. So I think we should really understand about what is a curse. Now, a curse can be very complicated. It can go for hundreds and hundreds of years and for generations and generations. But this isn't done by somebody who's just a little bit annoyed with you. This is done by an adept who's gone out their way to do the course. I'm not suggesting that people can't curse you, but generally speaking, if you're going to be cursed, it's not bad words. It is essentially they will attract a jinn or a demon, and that demon will be pulled into your world. Now, if you're frightened of somebody, then you can have what I would call a psychological curse. And that's a lot to do with yourself. As well as to do with yourself, you can also curse yourself. You can act in a way which will completely destroy your life. We gravitate towards what we invent. I've seen it over my life. I've seen how people have literally destroyed their lives, and it's remarkably easy to destroy your life. It's harder to build your life up, but it's very easy to destroy it. And generally speaking, that actually starts off with the voice. I know this sounds really, really strange, but how can that be? Now, if you're speaking in a monoscopic way and you're using a lot of swearing and you're using a lot of negativity, then you are going to pull people who assimilate to that kind of speech, who in turn will also attract other people. And instead of going higher, you go lower and lower and lower and lower. And that's just through tonality of voice. And that, in a way, is cursing yourself because you're not stretching yourself to be the highest form of human being you can be. So I would strongly recommend that, like Plato said, way back before the mythological Jesus, if you want to understand yourself and get to know yourself, and the only way you can get to know yourself is through being self-critical. And being self-critical is very difficult because you have to, if you like, face up to yourself using shadow work. And you have to understand the very worst aspects, which, if you are not in possession of your true reality, you can blame somebody else. We all fail. That is the nature of life. The majestic tiger, one of nature's, according to Blake, perfections. It will do 4, 5, 6, 7 charges before it will kill. And this animal has been around for literally thousands and thousands of years. So even the most, effective killers or the effective hunters take at least 5 or 6 times to get their prey. And essentially, this is the same with humans. That not always do you get something straight away because you need preparation. You need to understand what you want, and plus, then you need to understand: can you control what you want? By that, what I mean is just say, for example, you wish for a Ferrari. Okay, it's a good wish. Why not? If you were given a Ferrari, you've got lots of complications. Can you insure it? Can you afford to put the fuel in it? And then thirdly, can you actually drive it? And it's not that easy. I've been in a Ferrari, and I can tell you it's not a normal car. You know, you have to use a different way of driving it. It's the same with if you wished for sort of like the highest motorcycle, like a Hayabusa or something of that ilk. You've got the same problem. You know, you have to know how to drive. If you don't, then quite simply you'll be injured or dead within minutes. And this is the reality of life: is that although we can imagine something which is really solid to us, the reality of doing it, you need the skill, you need the time, you need the application. And because you get on a motorcycle straight away and you fall off, that doesn't necessarily mean to say that you've been cursed. That just means to say that you haven't driven a motorcycle and you've no idea what you're doing, hence you fell off. You get a Ferrari and put it through someone's house window, you've not been cursed, it's just that you don't know how to drive a Ferrari. And this is what you have to understand, that it's very easy to blame just about everybody else than yourself. You know, you have to own your own reality, and you have to own yourself, and you have to own your being. And the moment you do that, you are setting up boundaries which help you create your reality. Now, I hope that has been helpful, and this is a part of a lecture that I did with Christina Hart, and namaste.
So we were talking about planning and making sure that you it's like playing a musical instrument. It's like sticking to the plan. Yeah. Now, if you do that and you're still getting problems, then you may well be cursed. Yeah. However, uh, cursing is a weird one because realistically, you've got to kind of find out why you're being cursed, and you ask the person who is cursing you. Yeah. If you can't find out the person who is cursing you, then you need to protect yourself. Now, there's lots of books that you can do to protect yourself, and one of the most famous ones is Dion Fortune, which is sort of like how to protect yourself psychically and also psychologically. It's an amazing publication. However, it's written in an old-fashioned way, so it can be, if you like, hard work to sort of read it, but essentially, as far as learning about psychic self-defense and stuff like this, then essentially it's probably one of the best options to sort of take seriously. Have you come across the book?
Which one of hers?
Dion Fortune is, I think it's called Psychic Self-Defense, I think. Yeah.
No, I haven't actually.
Hold on, let me. I mean, it's been years since I've actually read it. Dion Fortune, yeah, sort of like she's got some. Dion Fortune, yeah. I mean that. I mean it's. I mean she was. That's not a name. It's something like Violet somebody or other, isn't it? Yeah, Psychic Self-Defense, Dion Fortune. Yeah, it's sort of like it's a classic. Yeah, you can still get it on Amazon.
Oh right, cool.
Yeah, it's $5.99, or if you know somebody nice, they can send you the PDF.
Have you got it?
Of course.
Could you send me it?
So yeah, so I mean, Dion Fortune is a really good book to sort of really understand psychic self-defense. But realistically, like I've been, I've been in occultism for a long, long time, and at the moment there's this what I would call New Age nonsense about how to defend yourself psychically and stuff like this, and the energy within and all that kind of thing. And quite a lot of it is just pure garbage, realistically.
Mm.
I know many magicians who have been attacked, and they've attacked these new age gurus who are so in tune with the universe, nothing can touch them. Trust me, it can. So I wouldn't give them any credence with their methods of self-defense. But we can go through their methods of self-defense. They're quite funny. If they think they're being attacked, they contact the chakras and they find the aura sense, and then they project that aura into the water and they drink the water and the water cleanses them. Okay, that's one way that they do. The other way...
Say that one again. I missed that. Say that one again.
It's where they have a bowl of water and they fire their chakras and they project all their chakra energy into the water, and then they drink the water and the water cleanses them. There's that way. Personally, I wouldn't recommend it, but there's that way is used. Another way is a very weird one. It comes from voodoo, this one. And it's the brick dust system. And essentially what they do is they get a brick and they smash the brick to pieces till it's like atomized almost into tiny little bits. They then spread the brick dust throughout the house. Yeah. They then say the incantations and the prayers, and they sweep every bit of brick dust up, and then they throw the brick dust away, or they burn the brick dust. Now, depending on what incantations you use, this one is quite successful, because it involves physical action. And the other thing as well, what it involves is it involves cleansing the house, and that's very strong spiritually and psychologically. However, once again, it all depends, what deities you're using, and sort of like how committed you are. But I would imagine if you've thrown brick dust all over your house, you're pretty committed into getting it tidied up. But that's a really good method. I would strongly recommend that. But you have to be very sure about the deities you're using. Another method, which I got off J.S. Garrett, is this one, which is, sort of this way up. This is Astrologado, and you prick your finger, put it on the sigil, set fire to the sigil, and hopefully Astrologado will get rid of the entity that you wish for. There's also, you can use jinn to get rid of cursing, but you have to understand what you're doing when you're dealing with jinn, because generally speaking, it will cost you. Another method of getting rid of a curse is the blessed salts. Have you come across the blessed salts?
Yeah.
Well, blessed salts, it's usually somebody who's of very strong religious importance will bless the salts, and you put them in the bath. Once again, you pray to the divinity that you trust, and you ask them to sort of like cleanse the water, and when the water is cleansed and you're cleansed, you release the water out of the bath, and then it all drains away, allegedly removing the curse. Yeah.
Oh.
Other ways is we can use herbs, for example, but it depends, you have to do some footwork, for example, clover, that this herb is to do with Mercury, yeah, and this is like protection for money, love, fidelity. It's used predominantly in exorcisms, is clover, yeah. The other way you can get rid of a curse is if you belong to a coven, or several witches. If you've been cursed, the more witches or the more magical workers the better. And you form a protective circle. You would do the invocation, and then you would choose what entity you want to remove the curse. I would strongly recommend group invocation more than sort of personal invocation, for lots of reasons. Mainly, group invocation is stronger than personal invocation, especially if you're working with higher depths. And if you really have a serious curse, then that certainly is the way to do it. Although, ironically, if you really believe that you're being cursed, the Catholic Church are really good at exorcism as well. They're renowned exorcists, to put it bluntly. But once again, it's very much whether or not you have been cursed, or are you imagining you've been cursed. But generally speaking, if you've been cursed, just say, for example, if you've been jinn cursed, there is no way you can mistake a jinn curse. It's because the jinn will attach itself to your body, and it will drain the energy like there is no tomorrow. But not only will it drain the energy, it will stop any progress that you can possibly want to do. And realistically, a jinn curse is unmistakable. And once again, it's probably worth having professional ruqya to get rid of it. So that's definitely a way to get rid of the cursing, because unfortunately, Wiccans do curse, and there's no two ways around it. They curse, but in my experience, the most effective cursing is the jinn cursing, and that's very much people of sort of Arabian origin, which tend to use the jinn cursing, and that is the most difficult to get rid of. Interestingly, if one is another good way to find out if you're cursed, is to go to a spiritualist center, because if you are being cursed, then these natural clairvoyants should be able to feel it, and then they should be able to sort of say what type of entity is cursing you and why you're being cursed. That's a really effective way of doing it. I don't know if you've ever come across that method. Have you come across that method?
Well, yeah, I work as a psychic, so I can use that method too, by reading energy. And
But if you're cursed, you won't be able to read it, I'm afraid.
What do you mean?
Oh, that's why you're cursed. If you're cursed, aren't you? It's hidden from you. It's hidden.
But I can see it in other people.
Yeah, you can see it in other people, but you won't be able to see it in front of yourself.
No, I can't
Yeah.
see it myself. No, I have to get somebody else to read it in me.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said,
I mean, when I was working for the Sun back in 2008, I worked on a very controversial case, and I think around then something happened because I dropped. I was on some kind of a timeline. It was very positive, and suddenly I lost my house. I started to make wrong decisions, like sell my house, move here, do this, and ever since 2008, I've just gone in a downward spiral. It's just like I don't know. Life hasn't
have
been
you done that? Have you gone to a spiritualist church and see if don't say I think I'm cursed. Let if somebody's psychic, naturally psychic, they'll tell you that there is dark energy around you. Have you done that?
Well, I don't. I did some healing with Sarah Adams, as you know. She took me up to a different dimension. I mean, I can do that as well. But she did that, looked at me, and she. No, I don't think she found curses. No.
Yeah, but I mean, that's only one person. I mean, sort of, it's once again, it's when you're dealing with.
What do you think? What do you think? I mean, reading my energy now. I mean, do you think there's anything there of that? I mean, or is it? I mean,
The only thing I ever pick up with you is stress, really.